It took a while, but it's finally done. And it's way ahead of schedule. Halloween's not for another 8 months. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog. This is vlog number 398 for March the 3rd, 2025. So let's jump right into what I've been working on. Not a heck of a lot different from last week, as you'll see. It's the Barn Star Sampler Quilt. I have a few more blocks done. I have many blocks to go. This is going to be a biggie, this one. And to be honest, I'm not enjoying the process. I don't know why. Just maybe because this is so big and there's so many pieces to it. But I started it 2 years ago, put it on the back burner for many, many months, dug it out, put it back, dug it out, put it back. I'm back on it. I'm going to get it done. I am determined with this. Of course, don't hold me to that because who knows. And the other thing that I did as well, just to try and sort of a palate cleanser, this horrible thing. Yeah, I'm going to explain to you why I think this is a horrible thing tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter, but let's just say right now, this should have been a very, very simple pattern. I just did not like the way it was written. It is an In the Hoop project. It's a wine bag, if you can't tell. And yeah, but anyways, tomorrow, more about that little wine bag bottle from hell. Seems like I've got a lot of things from hell these days that I'm working, that I'm working on. Okay, so let's go to the YouTube channel of the week. And if you have a pet, and I used to have one, we used to have our little Cleo, our cat. She passed away. Wow. 10, yeah, it was in 2015 she passed away. It's hard to believe it's been almost 10 years since she's been gone. We loved her very, very much. She was our princess. Um, we miss her so much. I miss her every day. Every day I miss her. Um, and yes, I know people have said to me, well, why don't you get another cat? And I would like to, but here's the problem. I'm remembering all the good things we had with Cleo. Not the not so good things, when she destroyed things or when we went away on vacation. More or less that, when we go away on vacation. Now, we had her well taken care of when we went away, but we worried all the time. I mean, we don't have children. She was our child, and we worried about her every minute of our trip, to the point where we put video cameras inside the house so we could watch her. Um, and in hindsight, that was kind of stupid, I guess, but that's the way we were at that point in time. And she always knew exactly where to hide, just out of the range of the cameras. She was sneaky like that, but it was one of her endearing charms. Anyways, when it came to her health, right up until the end, she was in pretty good health. We didn't have to take her to the vet very often. Um, we did. Now, I don't know, a lot of people might be against this, but we did, when we first got her, she had all her shots and everything like that. She had been, we had her neutered the whole bit. And we were taking her every year for a general physical. But she was an indoor cat. She had the usual shots. But as an indoor cat, she really didn't need a lot of those other shots. And we did some research and found out, yeah, veterinarians, depending on who you go to a vet and who you talk to, but what we figured out was, because of her living conditions and everything, she didn't really need, unless there was some kind of health issue, she didn't need to go and see the vet every year. So, and it put her through a lot of drama and trauma. And oh God, she saw that cat carrier come out. She was gone like a shot, and she put up a fight. She was not pleasant to deal with to get her into, the cat carrier and get her to the vet. So we just didn't bother. And she was great. Um, Finally, when it came to the end, though, we did have to take her to the vet. And yeah, we had to say goodbye. Um, I get choked up about it, still thinking about it, because, like I said, she was the love of our life. Um, but anyways, I really digressed on this one because I'm telling you about the video clip. Well, the reason I'm bringing up Cleo is because I know many of you own pets, and they are your children as well, and I get that, believe me. But the cost of pet care at the vet is incredible. When we had Cleo, it was expensive then, but not like it is today. And I'm hearing all kinds of things, and vets telling people they need to have this done with your pet and this done with your pet, and they need to be on this special diet and all this kind of stuff. You can't help but think that this might be a little bit of a racket. Well, I found this video, and this video comes from a Canadian news source called Marketplace, which is a consumer research program. And they did some research into what they call what's behind the rising costs of your pet care. And I found this really interesting. So here's my review of that clip. This week's YouTube clip comes from Marketplace, which is a Canadian product show or a Canadian consumer show where they point out things that you should be aware of when you're buying things or you're getting services and stuff like that. Well, this one was a real eye-opener. I used to have a cat. We used to have a cat, but she passed away almost 10 years ago, and we haven't got another pet since. And this particular video would definitely put you off getting a pet if you're in the market for one because of the cost of looking after them. And when I talk about the cost, I mean veterinarian costs. They have risen sky high, and there's a reason for that. And this particular video explains the situation. And basically, in a nutshell, corporations have bought up all these little independent veterinarian clinics and are now nickel and diming and putting up prices so high that people actually go into debt in order to make sure that their pet has proper health care. And they play on people's emotions for doing that and just take you right to the cleaners. So if you have a pet, you probably are aware already of this. But if you're thinking of buying a pet, then you might want to check this out in order to protect yourself and find suitable health care for your precious little animal. And the video is called What's Behind the Rising Cost of Your Pet's Care, and the link is in the show notes. So really, if you have a pet, you should watch this video, especially if you're in Canada, but I have a feeling it's the same anywhere else in the world as well. Okay, so the link for that is in the show notes. Also, just before I carry on with today's program, I just want to make a mention about Stephen and Walter Live, which there is a link for that in the show notes below. If you didn't catch it live, you can watch the replay. But there is one little section that has been cut out. I had a little tiny 30-second video clip that I used to introduce our topic for Stephen and Walter Live about, knowing Canada. It was a funny little clip. Well, apparently I violated copyright on YouTube. They sent me a message telling me that I needed to take that down. So I kind of wondered about that in the back of my head, because even though I was only playing about 30 seconds of it, it was somebody else's video. So I took it down. So you may see suddenly I say, okay, watch this, and then boom, back to us. That's the reason for it. I had to chop it out. Okay, so other links you will find a link for Stephanie and Stephen, the Sew Day we have on every Wednesday, starts at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. All are welcome. Come for a little time, come for all day, whatever. We run all day. We run until 5. We run until 4 p.m. Eastern. And so you don't have to stay all day, and you don't have to come right at the start time. Anyways, bring your sewing, your quilting, your underwear drawer, whatever floats your boat that you want to use that time for, and have a good time. Okay, so there's a link for that. It is a Zoom. It is private. It is not recorded. And also, another Sew Day coming up, Pop-Up Sew Day. The Idiot Quilter Pop-Up Sew Day will be coming up this coming Saturday, March the 8th, 2025. That's just for those of you that might be seeing this sometime in the distant future. I open up the virtual door, so to speak, at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and we go until about 5 p.m. in the afternoon. It's a whole day of sewing, socializing, having a good time. Again, it's come and go, whatever you want. And there is no need for you to send me an email telling me that you're coming or you're not coming. It's okay. Don't worry about that. I know some of you, I think that you need to make sure that I know that you're coming, or give me a reason why you're not coming, because I think you think I'm going to hate you forever. No, I won't hate you forever, but there's no need for you to reply to the email. Put it that way. And yes, I sent the email out to those of you that are on the mailing list this morning before I started recording this, and I made absolutely sure I'd put it in as a blind carbon copy, so you won't be getting a long list of other people on there. Sorry about that last time. And also, some people, and this is the other reason why I'm saying you don't need to reply to that email at all. And if by chance you do, please don't just do an automatic reply, because, well, with the blind carbon copy, only I will get it. Nobody else will get it. But, yeah, I made that mistake. My bad, the last time, and I'm really sorry about that. Because that's annoying, to say the least, and I know it's annoying. So anyways, I have sent that email out to you, but if you're not on the mailing list, that's not a problem. The link for it's in the show notes for the vlog today. It's in the Idiot Quilter show notes tomorrow, and it'll be in the So Chatty show notes on Friday, and it was on Stephen and Walter's live show notes yesterday. Lots of opportunity, okay? And just another tip. I'm full of tips today. Probably full of other things too. Who knows? Yeah, okay. Watch which link you hit. I have 2 links in the show notes this week. One is for the pop-up sew day, so look at the first line of that, because the other one's for Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. And I have had people try to get into Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen using the pop-up, and I've had other ones trying to get into the pop-up using Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. They don't work that way. So sorry, just be careful when you hit the link, okay? All right. So what else is in the show notes? Well, links to all my friends' channels, and links to whatever I talk about today, and links to last week's past videos as well. So that brings me to the weather. And I think I mentioned the other day, what do old people like to talk about the most? Weather. We talk about weather all the time. It's becoming a trend I have noticed on lives anyways, and on sew days and things like that. First thing to maybe break the ice, so to speak, we start to talk about the weather in our different areas where we come from. So anyways, this is what things are looking like outside my front door. You can see we still have snow. It is March the 3rd. Winter's not over yet in Canada, and it won't be for a while. The forecast, well, today it is minus 11 right now Celsius. So that's, let's see, minus 11, 22 at 30. Oh, I don't know. It's cold. The low is supposed to be minus 13. The high is only supposed to be 0, so it's freezing. So that's balmy. We haven't had weather at about freezing for a little while. So yeah, that's actually warm. Yeah, it's freezing, but it's warm. Tomorrow though, and Wednesday, woo, temperatures going up. In fact, tomorrow, according to my weather app, we have a 70% chance of rain. And the same on Wednesday. And Wednesday it's going to 7. So that's, goodness, that's shorts weather. Because that's what? 7 and 7's 14. That's about 44 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, balmy. Thursday though, we're going down again, still above 0 to about 4, but we've got 50% chance of snow, so it's not over yet. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, nothing, just cloudy. partially sunny, and a little warmer. So it's up and down. It's up and down. You can't predict the weather, you know. So it is what it is. But I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get itchy for, nicer weather out there. But still winter. Okay, so that's the weather. And so what's pissing me off this week? Well, everybody has an agenda, don't they? What do I mean by that? I mean, everybody has a plan that they want to put into action, and it usually involves other people. And usually, when I say someone has an agenda, that's not necessarily a good thing. Okay? It means that they want something. They want something to happen, and they are willing to manipulate you or other people to get what they want. And I've been in a situation, and many of you have been in a situation like this in the past, where you've been manipulated. And some people who are doing the manipulating are better than others, to the point where you don't even realize you're being manipulated. And after you do figure that out, you feel like an idiot. I always do anyways. They're trying to get you to do their bidding, what they want. It's all about them. Well, you want a good example of this? Okay, I'm sure everybody has been manipulated in one way or another in time, but we are manipulated on a constant basis every day, are we not? Think about advertising. Advertising is designed to manipulate us, to get us to buy their product. And since we're all on the internet, we are bombarded by manipulation techniques. We have catchy music, funny commercials. We're told, we're bombarded with, you gotta buy now, because they like to play on FOMO, fear of missing out, right? Those are all ways advertisers do manipulation. Make you feel like you're going to get a whole lot of something for a whole lot of nothing. All of those things are tricks. They do it not just in advertising, they do it on websites you go to. Well, Amazon's great at it, aren't they? Because they constantly send you notices about what, based on what you have bought in the past, telling you that something now sounds like it's a great price. But again, that FOMO is there. They have current price marked down. Was this price, is now this price, to manipulate you. If you go on sites like Temu or some of the other ones, they'll tell you there's only so many of these items left. Again, making you panic, thinking, ooh, I better not hesitate. I better get that, or I'm going to have FOMO. FOMO is probably the most important advertising and selling technique currently out there. I suppose it's always been there, though. But yeah, we're constantly being manipulated by advertising, and I don't think that's new to anybody. I'm sure we all know it. And we like to pride ourselves, I'm sure, on our level of intelligence that says, I will not be manipulated. Oh yeah, we are. It doesn't matter how clever you are, how well you know these things, you are manipulated. And I love the thing that's happening on most websites now, especially when I go looking for fabric. They tell you the price, but they have a line through one price, which is slightly higher than the price they're going to sell it to you at. And if you notice, and if you go to enough of these websites, it's the same thing over and over again. And I don't think that's necessarily the people who are actually doing the selling, the shop, the online shop. I think that's part of the program that they buy into that does all of their inventory and that, like Shopify or things like that. I think that's all part and parcel of that, because it's all the same format. It all looks the same. So yeah, that's not the shop doing that. The shop's regular price is the price you're about to pay for it. It was never the price that the line is through. But again, it makes you feel like you're getting something for nothing. So that's a manipulation technique. Well, organizations do this too. Oh, charities are really good at manipulating. They don't use FOMO. They use your emotions. They show you pictures of wide-eyed children holding an empty bowl out in bare feet. Please give. They have the music in the background. Music is a really great thing to use if you want to manipulate somebody in that format because, music sets mood. So they're always using something very somber, almost a funeral dirge. But they also do it not just for, overseas or charity things like that. They do it with showing you sick children. Oh God, we have a sick kids hospital here. We're bombarded with advertising about, giving to sick kids hospital, and the same with cancer as well. I mean, I'm not saying that these are necessarily bad organizations to donate to if you feel you should. I'm just saying their tactics. Why can't they just say to you, hi, we need money to continue our program. Could you give to us? Thank you. No, they have to play with your emotions. And even down to, we talked earlier about veterinarian costs. Well, they show the sad-eyed puppy in a cage. Who can resist a puppy or a kitty? You can't. They always look so sad and bedraggled. And yes, I don't doubt that these places need the money in that. But again, we're being manipulated by way of our emotions. And that's very powerful. That's a very powerful technique. Of course, our government manipulates us, and there's no better time than right now here for us in Canada, especially in Ontario. We just went through an election in Ontario, and we were bombarded with ads, negative ads, pointing out all the bad things about the opposition, about the people they're in competition with, to the point of it being ingrained in you. And of course, the pictures that they pick of the person they're picking on, that's alliteration, by the way, the person that they're picking on, they always, it's, not a good picture of them at all. They paint them to be evil. So they're appealing to our emotions, but they're also using visual aids to help manipulate the way our mind goes. And I'll be so glad when we finally have a federal election here in Canada. Of course, they have to pick a leader for the Liberal Party before then, because maybe these bloody ads will stop. Well, will they? No, because our government, anyways, has advertising throughout the year about all the wonderful things they're doing in their services and how they're making your life better, and it's all bull. They talk about the environment and they show you lovely green spaces as if they were responsible for that and it had nothing to do with God, that kind of stuff. So visuals are a real strong way of manipulating us. And of course, then we have organizations, we have advertising, we have government and businesses and all of those kind of things. Those are all institutional manipulation. But let's get more personal, shall we? Let's talk about our friends and family. We've all had someone in our life that we called a friend, and we're manipulated by that individual. And this is where things get a little dicey for sure. It's one thing when an institution manipulates us because they're an institution. They are faceless. We're not their buddy. We know that. But when a buddy, a friend, takes advantage of you, manipulates you to do something that they want you to do, and it's for selfish purposes, that hurts. That hurts on many levels. And it may end a friendship, or because we don't want to end a friendship, and that's a method that they often use, they will get us to do things we don't necessarily want to do because we still want to be their friend. And I think we've all been there. And we've all had people like that in our lives too. And even our family. And let's go to the basic person in our life who knows all the techniques for manipulating us and controlling us. And it started at birth. It's our mothers. Yes, it is. And we know it. Mothers use guilt. And they're good at it. And when a mother uses that technique on one of her children, that child will do whatever she wants. And I swear, all mothers, I don't know where they learn the technique, probably from their mothers, or maybe it's just innate in mothers' personalities. I don't know. but we've all been manipulated by our mothers. Now, I'm not saying that that's evil, but it's there if you think about it. Um, so, how do we battle being manipulated, being taken advantage of, being coerced into doing things or buying things we don't want? Well, you got to take back control because that's what manipulation is. Manipulation is basically control. One person manipulates another person, one institution manipulates another, other people, or something like that. Um, that is control. They have you, they're telling you what to do. So I think the easiest way to avoid being manipulated, and you won't be able to avoid it all the time, it'll sneak up and catch you, is just to learn a simple word. No. That's the word. No. You never need to give an explanation for why you've used the word no. Example. A friend comes to you and would like you to do this and this and that for them. And you hesitate. First of all, if you hesitate, they've got you right there because they'll add more into that manipulation, more techniques. And you don't want to hurt their feelings, or you don't want to end a friendship, or whatever. So you don't say no. You'll make up weak excuses. They like weak excuses if they're a master manipulator because they can play on those excuses and make it sound logically, they'll give you logical reasons, would sound logical at the time, for why you should do what they want you to do. And oftentimes when we use the word no, we feel that we need to give an explanation with it. No, I can't really make that quilt for you right now. I'm really busy. And no, you do not have to give anybody a reason for why you say no. It's hard. It is very hard to just say no without an explanation, but try it. And you do it in a pleasant way. And here's the power of that word, of no, when you do it that way. Someone says to you, I'd like you to, oh, could you really make me a quilt? I need it for a baby shower. No. You say nothing after the no. And just look at them and smile. Because now you have altered the power struggle. You have taken control. Now they have to try a different tactic to try and convince you. And they will, if they're very determined to take back control. But again, you can hear their whole explanation and just say no. It does work. It does work. I learned that technique when I was a teacher. Kids, especially high school kids, are really good at trying to manipulate you into doing something or getting something from you. They're very good. Never underestimate a teenager. Okay? I found that if I just looked at it and said, no, you can add a little polite word in there. Sorry, no. And you just smile. Is there anything else? It works. Walter gets uptight when we go into a place where we're looking at a big ticket item. He doesn't like to go into places where they have salespeople that are there to sell you stuff, like furniture stores or something like that. And I've always said to him, you don't have to let them control you. You go in, you realize they're going to show you a whole lot of stuff, but you use the word no. They don't need an explanation for why you're giving no. You don't owe them anything. You don't even know them, usually. So when the furniture says, well, let me show you this. It's a really good price and all that kind of stuff. No, not interested. Oh yeah, they'll continue on, but you are now in control. You take control back. And they usually figure that out. The people that you use the word no with usually figure it out, that you are not going to be easily manipulated. So yes, they may continue to try. You keep saying no. Or they just walk away. They're done. They know they've lost. Bye-bye. Move on. It's very effective. I use it all the time, all the time. Because if it, like, for any situation where I feel I'm being manipulated and someone's trying to take over. So try it. Just say no. Okay, moving on. And that's what was pissing me off this week too, because I've been in a couple of situations lately where, yeah, I had to remember to say no. Sometimes you forget. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go to the grow lights. And what's happening with those? Well, they're growing. Things are growing. Lettuce is looking luscious. The basil's looking good. But what I'm really proud of, as you know, and I've told you this for every week, but they're getting bigger, and that is the peppers. Yes, look, I have red peppers. I have green peppers. I have purpley black peppers. We have peppers of all kinds. And Walter said the other day, maybe we should start consider eating these. I almost don't want to pull them off the vine, but you know, you got to pull, or bush, you got to pull them off because they'll rot. Yes, I will freeze. I will slice them and use them for cooking because there's way too many here to eat. Maybe do some stuffed peppers. We did stuffed peppers last year. I think we just finished them. But they freeze well, and I like stuffed peppers. Walter, not so sure about that. But anyways, we have a really wonderful crop of peppers. So, time to get some more started, I think. But I think they're beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Did I tell you how beautiful I thought they were? Yeah. Okay, get away from my peppers. All right. What else? I'm just looking here at my notes. Oh. Okay, I had another picture here and I can't find it. Walter was busy. We talked a little bit about it on So Chatty. Anyways, I don't have a picture of it. But I showed it on Not So Chatty, Stephen Walter Live. I don't know if you can notice it, but it might look a little brighter to you on this video because I have a new light in here. You can't see it. It's a ceiling light. I used to have a track light just up here, not that one that you see. That's my cutting mat light, and it's off right now because it gives too much of a glare on the video. But I had a track light. I had it there for years, and it's just not bright enough for what I want to do. So Walter got a new light for his sewing room, and boy, I'm telling you, that's made a lot of difference. But it was so bright, he needed to get a dimmer switch for it as well. He got that all installed. Not easy. It took 2 days, and it was a lot of cursing and swearing, but it's working fine. So I decided I want the same light and the dimmer switch in this room. And so now that Walter had practice, we got that up. And when I say we, I mean Walter got that up, and it's working dandy, and I absolutely love it. It came from Costco, and it's really bright, and it's dimmable. So we have the dimmer switch, but the beauty of the dimmer switch is it works with my smart device. I don't want to say its name because it'll do something. It works with my smart device. Now, I have a lot of lights in this room down here because can you ever have too much light in your sewing room? I don't think so. But all I have to do is tell, lights off, they all go off. Lights on, they all go on when I say the magic name of the smart device. So, yeah, it's great. And yeah, you might think I'm lazy. What's the big deal about turning on a light switch? It's a big deal. I want instant light. I feel like God. Let there be light. Boom. Yeah. But anyways, I'm really happy with this light. Can you tell? Yeah. So that was a new thing. Walter's putting up another light in our formal living room. It's an old track light. It's just not working properly. So he installed the new light up fixture that we bought there yesterday before Stephen and Walter Live. Some cursing and swearing involved. But he hasn't got the dimmer switch in yet because he ran into a problem. So, he'll tackle that sometime this week and get that done. So, yeah, so it's been an electrical week here. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about, can I print that effing thing? Well, I did some experimental prints with the new printer just to see what I would get. And here they are. So, this is kind of a mishmash of things. First of all, that thing in the center with all the holes, that is called a skidis. Skidis. Skadis. It's a Swedish word for IKEA pegboard. You can buy these at IKEA. It's a whole system. It's just pegboard, right? But I can make them too, and there's tons of them. And there's things that you can hook into them, like little platforms and trays and hooks and things like that. So I made a couple of these because I want to clean up the area where I have my little 3D things, my dragons and that on display, which is off camera at the moment. But yeah, they work dandy. Love them. So my new printer, my old printer probably wouldn't be able to handle this, my old printers. So that's why I did it on the bamboo. The bamboo, I'm loving it. Absolutely loving that machine. The little tray to the left of the center there, the orange one, that was supposed to be something that you could hook over to the on the edge of your bamboo printer. Well, no. No, that doesn't work. I thought it might be nice to be able to put my, some little tools that I use with 3D printing in it, but no, that didn't work. But, it was worth the effort to try. The yellow thing that looks like a tree in the background, that's a headless dragon. It wasn't supposed to be headless. I want to print it because it's very delicate and very fine, and I want to see if the printer could handle that. Because on my older printers, something that fine and delicate, no, it wouldn't be able to do it. Well, the Bamboo One Labs printer did a really great job. Of course, it needed to have supports, and when I was cutting off the supports, I cut off the dragon's head by mistake. So yeah. Am I going to print another one of those? I don't know. I might. See if I can do it with less supports too, because there were a lot of supports on it. But anyways, it was an experiment just to see how fine a detail I could get, and I'm very impressed. The little gnome over there he is actually bigger. I want to see how tiny I could make him without losing any detail. And again, the Bamboo Lab printer came through with that. And this was for fun. I saw this little basket, purse kind of thing with the handles. And that's a challenge to print on my Creality printers because of what they call the overhang. Those handles, you need supports, and often that can be disastrous with the Crealities. The Bamboo did it brilliantly. The supports came right off, no problem. In fact, to the point now where I shrunk that down a little bit further, and it's going to make a great little bag fob or key fob, that kind of thing, for future projects. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun experimenting with all of this with my new printer. But here's the best of all, and I made a little video that I'm going to insert here because this, if you remember back, I made the made the Christmas mansion, and I did that on the Crealities, and that was a very involved multi-day print and a lot of gluing and things like that. Well, it turned out okay on those. I was very pleased with it. But I thought I would like to make another one, but this time the Haunted Mansion. And I think I showed you some pictures of it last week. I can't remember if I did or not. I may not have. But it turned out beautiful, and it's now sitting upstairs. It's not coming out just at Halloween. It's up all year round, and it lights up and everything. And well, here's a little video that I made of it. So this is my latest 3D print creation. It is the Haunted Mansion by Flove. That's the name of the designer. Now, you may remember back at Christmas this past year, I made the Christmas mansion and was by the same designer. This one's a little bit more elaborate, took a little longer to make. It took about 2 weeks to print all of the parts. They're all 3D printed, every one of them. And then it took me about 2 days to glue it all together by the time the glue had set. But I think it turned out really great. And you can see it has LED lights inside, a string of them, that flash off and on. I don't know if I'll leave it flashing like that. I might put it to a slow fade. That might be better, but I thought you'd like to see the effect. And here's a little bit closer up. You'll notice that it does glow. The person who designed this, he is extremely clever. This went together without any problems whatsoever. The parts printed beautifully on my Bamboo Labs X1 carbon, and everything just fits really nice. It must take hours to design something like this. I wouldn't even know where you begin So obviously this person has probably AutoCAD background, extensive AutoCAD background, and architectural background as well. And you can see he is very, very much into detail. I mean, you look at these gargoyles. They're fantastic. And the tree with the skull in the bottom and the monk or the wizard or whatever it is on the fountain. And all the other gargoyles. And even the little fences and things that have all got these bat details in them. It's an incredible piece. It is one that you have to pay for, but it only costs $24 Canadian, which I think is a bargain. He has other ones as well. He has a toy shop, which has a moving conveyor belt on it with presents and things like that. He has a theater. He has a hot air balloon that actually is a lamp. And he's got several other different models as well, and they all range in various sizes, but I think this one is one of his largest ones. So I am going to make more of these in the future. My biggest problem now is where am I going to put them all? So yes, this new printer, you've heard me say it before, I can't say too much about it. It is wonderful. It's been worth every penny. I am very seriously considering retiring one, maybe two of my KE printers, my Creality KEs, and replacing them with another one of the Bamboo. But I'm holding off. It's a lot of money. It's almost $2,000 by the time you get done with shipping and taxes. And they are working on one that's even bigger. So I don't know. I might hold out a little bit longer. I mean, the other printers, the Crealities, are doing what they're supposed to do. And they're working fine, and they're not giving me really any major grief. So yeah, we'll carry on with those for a little while longer. But the Bamboo, I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so, and as far as those houses are concerned, the guy who designs those, he goes by FULV. I don't know. Anyways, you do have to pay for them, but they're not that expensive. Really, that haunted house one cost me about $24 Canadian, which is pretty good. And it comes with extensive instructions on how to put it together that are really great. So, yeah. But he has some other really great looking ones. There's one that's of a theater. So the next thing you know, by the time this year is out, my house may be full of all of these models. And I love the fact that he builds them in such a way that it's easy to install strip LED lights in them too. Okay, so this takes me to old video clips from earlier versions of Stephen and Walter Live. And since today I've been talking a little bit about pets and, veterinarian costs and that, and I talked about our pet Cleo, I thought I would put in a little excerpt from one of our early Stephen and Walter Lives where someone asked us if we had any pets.
We have any pets? No, right now we don't.
Oh,
but we had a cat for
our baby.
13 years, and she passed away a couple of years ago.
We had to put her down, actually, put her to sleep, because poor thing had cancer. She had pancreatic cancer, and we didn't realize that she had that for quite a while.
She started acting a little strange, but we didn't really realize that
until she stopped eating.
That she had something funny, because she started getting really affectionate and cuddly, and she was never like that before. But then we never really just figured she was getting older type of thing. So
yeah, I have her as my you can't see it on this one, but I have her as my screen.
But anyway, yeah, no, we haven't gotten a cat or haven't gotten a pet since, because we like to travel a lot. And the thing is that we always felt bad about leaving her behind when we went away, and we never would, though. I think the longest we would go away is 2 weeks, and we'd have like a pet sitter come in and stuff like that. But still, she'd still miss you, type of thing. So
although she was so well looked after when we were away, when we'd walk in the door, she'd go, "Ooh, it's you." I thought it was going to be the pet nanny, kind of a thing. But yeah, we still miss her a great deal. She was our little girl. She was a rescue.
Well, I'm considering I didn't want a cat in the first place.
No, and I grew up with a cat.
And
when I was a
but
kid.
actually, I had preconceived notion of what cats were like because my mother didn't like cats, and so that's one of the reasons I never really wanted a cat. But actually, once we got her, actually she was great, and I did all the the not so nice chores with her because I got to
Yes.
brush her all the time because she was a long hair. And
She was white.
and she loved getting brushed because
yeah.
I would show her the brush and she'd come trotting.
Well, she come trotting right in,
And,
hop up on the bed, ready to be brushed.
and I would brush her almost every day.
Yep.
And then I'd also clip her nails.
Yeah, I didn't do
Because
that.
she had all her nails.
Yeah.
So
And we never had her declawed. When we first got her, I was going to have her declawed. Then I investigated it and found out that what they do is horrible. They actually, if we were a human being declawed, they amputate at the first knuckle in your finger. And I thought that was just a process where they could remove the nail. And when I heard that that's what they were going to do, I went, no. And she never ever destroyed anything with her claws.
No,
Mind
actually,
you, she had 3 scratching posts.
well, the only thing she did destroy was the waterbed.
Oh, well, that was the first night we got her. She was still young. And
We were swimming.
we were, okay, did someone have an accident? No, it's a little wet. And she had her little claws. They were like little needles. And they had gotten stuck in the waterbed, so we had a slow ooze. So Walter patched it, and while it was drying, it takes about 24 hours, we slept in the guest bedroom. Oh, that was so cute, because Kitty was between us and her little head on the pillow. Oh, and her name was Cleo. She was a princess. And, yeah.
But anyway, she did it again. We said, okay, time to get a mattress.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, get a real mattress again. Well, I was sort of done with the 80s style waterbed thing anyway, so. But yes, her name was Cleo. In fact, Walter named her before we ever got her.
No, he's bugging me to get a cat for a long time, and so finally,
5 years.
Finally, I caved, and
He said-
we got a rescue.
He
so.
said, if we ever get a cat, we knew we wanted to get a rescue. We wanted a female, and we did want a kitten. We wanted a young cat but mature kind of a thing. And also the reason I thought that is because there's some mature cats and mature animals in rescues that don't get adopted. Everybody wants the puppies and the kittens, and we want to give a good home to a more mature animal. And he says to me one day, he goes, if we were ever to get a cat, we could name her Cleo. I went, you're naming something we don't even have yet. And then she sort of fell into our arms.
She was a good cat.
She was a great cat. She was our baby. And I noticed a comment here from Hayes, I hope I'm saying your name right, that asked about her pet. She says, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. It's always hard when you lose a fur baby. Yeah, it was the hardest day in my life. It was harder than when my father passed away. It really was. Man, well, I'm not going to get into why that might be, but and she says, she was lucky to have you. We were lucky to have her. She was our baby, and we only had her for 13 years. And, well, yeah, it was a hard thing. And Quilter says, I adopted a 3-legged dog and a 1-eye cat. Got them BOGO free. They were on the scratch and dent shelf. Well, want to know something seriously, though, Jennifer? I admire the fact that you took on a 3-legged dog and a 1-eyed cat. Because those are the ones that need homes the most and that people would overlook, And I think, kudos to you because, you did that. And yes, Jennifer, I believe it is a true story with that.
Yeah, actually, animals that are not perfect do need a home. So
yeah,
I mean, even the cat that we had, she had a chronic tearing problem, which she was a white cat. Her eyes would look black because she had a chronic tearing problem.
Their tears are very acidic.
But what are you going to do? Give the cat away because she's got black eyes? I mean, it needs a home too. So
Jennifer says the dog was the love of my life. No offense to my husband. Yeah, well, I know how you feel. Really, I mean, I was really if he'd gone away, which he never did, but if he'd gone away or the cat had gone away, I would miss the cat. Yeah, I mean, she was the baby. There was no two ways about it. And there's
Well, I think what happens is with pets, you get so attached to them because you see them all the time. You're constantly looking after them. So like, I mean, I was brushing her pretty much every day and everything like that. So they become such a big part of your life that when they go away, then you really miss them.
her picture's almost in every room of this house. Every morning on my dresser, there's a picture of her. It's a picture I took of her when she was sticking her tongue out at me. I always thought it was kind of a cute picture. Every morning, I say good morning to the kitty, and it's been 2 years now, over 2 years since we lost her. Hardest thing I ever had to do in my life. Ian says, fur babies always come first. And Jennifer says, swiftly the dog had to have his eye removed. My husband slept on the couch. Don't blame you. And there wasn't enough room for all three of us. Yes, Kitty always slept in our bed, especially in the winter. She actually slept under the bed more in the summer because it was cooler there. But in the wintertime, she was snuggled right up, and she would sleep usually on top of me or on him, whatever, because she wanted the body heat in the whole bed. And it's funny how you can get adjusted to curving your body in such a way to accommodate the cat, really. But, yep, she was a baby. Enough about her.
So next week on Blast from the Past, I have a little clip of another answer to a question somebody asked us, and they want to know about our roles in our relationship. So that'll be on next week's vlog. Okay, so events in the past week. Well, I did a guild presentation online, a Zoom one. It was great. Well, what I mean is I felt very comfortable with the group, a lovely group of ladies. I think I mentioned this on Stephen and Walter Live, and I think I said that I thought it was a small group, about 12. But the president who's also a subscriber to my channel said, no, actually, she said there were 27 of us there. I guess I didn't see the other screens on my computer. It kind of got buried behind my slide presentation. And I guess that's why I didn't think there was as many people there as there was. So I apologize to the president of the group for, making it sound like there wasn't a great turnout. There was a great turnout. And the people that were there and everything were very, very nice to me. So I thought that was great. Enjoyed it very much. And I've got another one coming up in the middle of this month. But that one's an in-person one, and I talked about that yesterday in Stephen and Walter Live, so I'm not going to go into details about that right now, just to say that that one I'm a little bit more nervous about. Supposedly, they've got 70 to 80 people. Yeah, okay, I'll survive. And just as a side note, the reason I get a little uptight is not because of the number of people, whether it's small, large, whatever. That doesn't bother me to stand up in front of a group of people and speak to them. I mean, that's what I did for a living, right? As an English teacher. But what bothers me is technology. Nothing, in my opinion anyways, I've been to presentations before where the technology did not cooperate and the person who was the presenter got really flustered. I understand why. And it just set an atmosphere for the whole thing that undercut the presentation quality. I don't want that to happen. So I've been in contact about what they have available for technology, this other group, and I'm bringing backup systems as well. I want to be well prepared. It'll probably be overkill, but I'd rather that than, pushing a button, nothing happens, and staring at your audience and going, well, what do you want to do now? Stand here for 50 minutes and stare at me? What? So anyways, but I'm ready. Yeah, I talked about Walter installing the lights and that. So I have a little video here of him being an electrician and not killing himself.
So we were in Costco the other day and saw this light. Actually, we saw the first light we saw. Walter thought he'd get it for his sewing room because he's been operating under candlelight for the longest of times in that room. So he got one of these lights, installed it. There was cursing, there was swearing, there was 2 days of work because it's so bright that we decided we needed a dimmer switch. So back to Costco we went and got a package of 3 dimmer switches. And then there was problems in hooking up the dimmer switch, but Walter figured it out, and he got some new little toys to go along with it. And now he's installing the same type of light, because I thought it was really good, and I could use more light in here, because who doesn't need more light in their sewing room? And so he's got that one up, and now he's wiring in the dimmer switch. Now these dimmer switches are also activated by Wi-Fi, so you can control it from your phone. There's an app. There's an app for everything. So Walter is wiring the new dimmer switch into here, and he got these fancy little clips for putting the wires together instead of using those marrettes or whatever. He's really thrilled with these. They've kind of made his day. So we'll have lots of light in here now. So once this gets installed, I'll show you what it's like. So Walter's all finished, the light is up, and I've got lots of light now in this room. And of course I can run it from the dimmer switch here, or I can run it from my phone, or I can have Echo look after it. And all I have to say...
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Yeah, I figured you wouldn't. Anyways, all I have to do is say, Echo, lights off. Now she doesn't want to cooperate. Echo, lights off.
Okay.
And there we go. Echo, lights on.
Okay.
And there. So, a nice improvement to my sewing room.
Okay, so what's coming up? Well, of course, I've already mentioned the Sew Day on Wednesday, and of course, Pop-Up Sew Day this Saturday, March the 8th. I hope to see many of you there. It's always a fun day. You always get lots done. It's great. And yeah, and now I have to look forward to cleaning my house, because I need to clean my house. And not one of my favorite jobs, but I don't want to live in a sty. So yeah, I got to clean the house. And so, on that note, thanks for joining me today. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you on the Idiot Quilter tomorrow and the rest of the week on any of my other videos. Bye for now.